The Lakes Church began in 1969, alongside the ministry of an evangelist named Doug Willis. Doug used to travel around Australia and set up a tent called the Aerosphere.
Yeah, went along to the Aerosphere. When I first came to Cairns, he was doing a lot of this work with the Aerosphere, and some American evangelists were here. I think you came along to one of the tent missions, didn't you? That's where he came to know Jesus, at one of the tent missions. So the Aerospheres were amazing. They were something that just blew up with air. So that's why they call it the Aerosphere. I was 17 when I came to Cairns, and I went to the church here. There was only a handful of us, my sister, my mum, and Leslie and Ken, who were here still, and a few others were there at that time, yeah.
This small group of people affiliated with Churches of Christ in Queensland and became known as Cairns Church of Christ. The church met for a number of years in a small hall on Yarram Street in Earlville.
Carol played the organ. She's a beautiful organ player. She played the organ for years and years and years and years and years in the church.
I've never been a good singer. I would call it making a joyful noise to the Lord in those days.
And of course we had the old hymns. Yeah, the Alexander hymns and that sort of thing. Yeah.
And used to share the preaching. Someone would take it a different week.
The three of us used to share it, and then Bernie disappeared after a couple of months, moved south. Roger went to America to Bible college. They left me.
A major turning point came in 1980 when a home in Martin Street was donated to the church.
A lady who was in our church, Hazel Bird, I think her name was, her and her brother were left the house in the will. She was a really faithful member in our church, and she decided to buy her brother out because she was given a little inheritance by another person who she used to care for, and so she gave the church to us to use as a man's church. So we met underneath that for quite a long time, and we had interim pastors come and stay in the house. So that was fabulous. That's where we got started. God's good.
In the years to come, the church outgrew the house at Martin Street and began looking for a larger home.
The space again. We had more people coming, and God had blessed the church with people.
It was every time we made a major decision, whether a relocation or purchase of something, God blessed the decision.
A property on McLeod Street became home for the church from 1986 until 1995.
It was supposedly a Sunday school building, right? Yeah. The old one. It looked like a little church building. We renovated that first and used it. It was quite hot in the summer.
Didn't have fans.
No. And when it got too small, then we bought an industrial shed, which we built on the back.
It was a tin shed that was built onto the back of the existing church, the building itself, just like a shed. And it was just, we met in there at the back of the, we outgrew the little church, so we had to expand, and that was the cheapest form of expanding. And so a lot of volunteers did that. I worked there a fair bit on it, but Ray certainly was the man in charge of getting it all going. A lot of credit goes to Ray for what he's done over the years.
Well, we had a Sunday school going. We had quite a few kids there. The kids all came with their parents, and some other kids would come. You know, the kids would bring their friends, and we had a little, quite a thriving Sunday school going.
Well, I was babysitting children then at the church, I think, in that area, or that time. When I was looking after the children, that's when I knew I had a need there, and I looked after the children.
During the years at McLeod Street, the church continued to grow and expand. Eventually, the buildings couldn't contain all of the people, and the church needed to take another big step. During the final service at McLeod Street, 15 people committed or recommitted their lives to Jesus that day. Tears were in many eyes, some tears of sadness for leaving the church building, and others tears of joy from those handing their lives to God.
Well, we outgrew that building as well, and so there was a lot of faith shown in moving over to where we are now, the ruins, that was called at that time.
But we did meet in other places between McLeod Street. We met at Oswald Hall, and we met at the Yugoslav or the Stedford Hall down the road. So we just kept moving from place to place, but was always a nightmare because you have to put out all the chairs in the morning when you got there, and yeah, but it worked, and we just kept moving forward. And then when we got the chance to buy the ruins, the old Germania Club, that was a process in itself. Yeah.
The Germania Club had got the building up where the walls were up 3 metres, and it had sat there for 9 years derelict. Everything growing over it and mould. It took us 2 years of negotiation to get through all the red tape and the legal side of it. In the end, the Germania Club agreed to hand the lease back to Lands Department in favour of us taking it over.
I can distinctly remember having a huge gathering at the ruins and people praying, and there was so many people there.
Yeah,
It was really, could see that this was going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It had to.
Yeah.
It involves stepping out in faith considerably, financially, the commitment of the individuals in the church. At one stage we put together personal loans to the church, non-interest bearing loans, to try and raise sufficient finances. And getting the church working together to prepare the new building or whatever is a blessing to everybody when you get them there and you work together and you talk and you communicate, you know.
The building on Greenslope Street was officially opened in 1997, and the church changed its name to Centenary Lakes Christian Community. Once again, this was a big step of faith for the church.
It's a big step and decision to make, but with the blessings that came with it, and after a few years it was all paid off and we're ready for the next step.
In their new building on Greenslope Street, the church continued to grow and develop into the church we know today as the Lakes Church.
That God was faithful. He was using his people in their workplaces, with the youth group, with Cornerstone that used to be around for many years. That was a real outreach. We had so many families associated with our church through that, through their young people, and a lot of work. How many meals did we do? 120 one night. My goodness. Yes, and that was really, and also I've seen the work of the play groups.
Oh, the friendliness was most of it, yeah. Being friendly and openly and things like that.
The people. We've made some beautiful friends. We've got lovely memories. So many people have come and gone, but we still keep in connection with, so I'd say the people. I think the ability to serve is another one. Because when you serve others, you're blessed. And the other thing too is just being a part of home groups always. I think if I can encourage people who are watching this to just get involved in a home group, because this is probably where you grow mostly spiritually and where you become connected to a group of people who really care about you.
The church has been really blessed to have good pastoral leaders and ministers. And everybody has served when it's been required. What I mean by that, as the church grew, we had the right person.
Yeah, that's right.
Then when it was at a stage, that person stepped aside or moved, and then another person came in. So there was always the right person for the right time.
I think that God's just been very faithful to our church, because if the people are faithful, you know, God's always faithful, but if we respond to that, I think God honours that. I think God has blessed this church immensely.